Running a business often comes with a silent cost. Our energy, our peace of mind, and sometimes even our sense of self. We have all heard the stories of entrepreneurs hustling harder, pushing through burnout, and believing exhaustion is just the price of success. But what if growth didn't have to feel like that? What if scaling wasn't about running faster, but about choosing differently? Welcome back, listeners, to this episode of BizBlend, where today I'm joined by Joanna Zhang, founder of the Operations Genius, award winning innovator, and creator of the world's first fractional VA service. Now, listeners, let me share a bit about Joanna's journey with you. It started from solving her own challenges, building systems and teams that not only supported her business, but later became the foundation of a service that now helps countless entrepreneurs scale with more clarity and less chaos. But Joanna's story isn't just about operations, it is also about awakening. She's someone who's brought spiritual alignment into business systems, merging the practical with the deeply personal. So, in this conversation, we are going to explore how to scale without burning out and whether conscious leadership and aligned decision making can truly change the way businesses grow. So, Joanna, welcome to the show, and I'm really, really honored to have you here with us.
Thank you so much, Sana. And thanks a lot for this warm introduction. And it's lovely to spend this time with all of you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Joanna, first of all, I must say, the blend of operations and business with spiritual alignment, it is such a unique blend. I mean, we are now talking about intuition and leadership, conscious leadership, servant leadership, and I really appreciate that you have brought this blend into such a practical world. So with that, let's talk about scaling without burnout. Now, uh, you know in reality, Joanna, most entrepreneurs, they face seasons of exhaustion. I mean, I have seen people um working. I mean, they don't have any idea when they are having their food, when they are sleeping, what's their schedule. They are just working, and as we call in the entrepreneurial circles, hustling. So from your perspective, is burnout truly avoidable, or is it something which is inevitable and entrepreneurs have to embrace it?
Right. That's such interesting points because through my own scale up journey, burnout was part of it when I first started. All the symptoms you just mentioned just now, like endless like sleepless night, like constantly on the go and tracing my own tails and I just can't stop. All the things become a momentum more like a robot for many, many years when I actually was doing my own business because I was struggling and I was frustrated and I was trying to find a way out. So all those years I experienced all those burnout to start with, to be honest with you. Because of this burnout, actually is kind of inevitable to start with. It actually, I think it's a sign. It's a good sign for us to really understand what is the burnout about. So because I experienced that, so I totally understand how it feels. It's kind of like I'm in the uh wouldn't say jail, but kind of like a limitation. I wanted some freedom. I wanted to breathe. I wanted to really be on top of my business. That kind of aspiration can come up, right? It's more like when we're experiencing some emotions or the struggles, we come often give us a chance to really break through to find a solution about it. So when I actually experienced a burnout, I started to really think how can I now to be burnout, right? And then I started to work with a VA to start with for helping my business. I had a lot of challenges and hurdles, and I realized that one thing make myself burn out is I first of all I doing a lot of things by myself, which I'm not really good at. For example, IT or marketing is not my strength at all. And another burnout is that I wanted to help, but there's a lot of helper out there. They only like have to be full time or part time, and it make me really like stuck in those mode that I have to constantly find work for others to do. Not like give me extra stress. And then another burnout coming when I work with more and more people, and things start to happen, right? Unexpected scenarios. So all those things is actually add up on my journey. So all the things inevitable. However, I feel like I want to share this sentence from my spiritual mentor. Since I
Mm.
started my soul awakening, soul ascension process, is that the pain is inevitable in our life, such as the symptoms of burnout, right? However, we can choose whether we suffer from it or not. So suffer is a choice. If we say burnout is a symptom of the status of our working state, we do have the choice, a chance to make decision not to be in that state. As far as we step into that, we can make decision and then to really shift. How can we be more aligned, right? Be ease out and have a time to breathe. We really be working on top of the business. I hope this is a brief introduction make a bit sense. I think burnout is inevitable journey. However, we do have a choice to make decision. We want to be on top of that. Yeah.
I think you really beautifully um weaved the words in your answer, especially what your spiritual mentor mentioned, that pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. And I think that kind of gives the essence, the soul of this entire approach. That yes, burnout is definitely an inevitable part of growth, but then definitely entrepreneurs don't have to actually suffer. Um, and Joanna, I also would like to understand. I mean, it's a bit of a nuanced, you know, uh, thought that comes to my mind that some entrepreneurs they argue, and this is specifically very much relevant. When you are an early stage startup founder. Um, Scaling responsibly and scaling rapidly are two very different paths. Um, we, as an entrepreneur, we can't have both. And so, do you believe when we talk about conscious leadership, does it slow down growth, or can it actually accelerate it?
Can you repeat that question again? Because I don't think I get your question totally.
Yeah, let me just reframe it. So now some entrepreneurs would argue that scaling responsibly and scaling rapidly, they are two very different paths, and you can't have both. So do you believe that conscious leadership it slows down growth, or can it actually accelerate it?
Oh, okay. I understand what you mean now. Because I think in majority people's perspective is conscious leadership sounds like be aware of what's happening, and it kind of feel like ask us to be patient, to slow down the pace, and to really ease out. And sounds like it's the conflict of rapidly scale up, right? And in my perspective, I don't think they are conflict at all. They are just different aspect, like a yin and yang, right? Like if we say we all have a masculine energy, if you we reframe like someone actually want to grow fast, it's definitely it's like a masculine energy. And while someone want to be conscious, go with the flow, it's like a feminine energy, right? So because as a soul, we have both energies. It's about balancing them out. I don't think they're conflict in a such way, but we just need to figure out a way to balance. If we constantly focus on the rushing out, a lot of time we're tracing the results and focusing on the numbers and somehow losing the part of the soul of ourselves on the rushing because I've been there, done that as well, and constantly feel like why am I not achieving my goal and feels like not fulfilled, to be honest with you. It's more like I've got a signs of success, but I don't have the art of fulfillment. Something is missing. But since I stepped into the conscious leadership, I still focus on the growth, of course. But the shift actually changed to how can I enjoy the process in that instead of just focusing on the result. Most importantly, what I found, when I actually focus back on the process to really grow in a way to make a better process, become a better person, or maybe empower more leaders on the quality side, things just magic just happens, like something manifestation part of the material side, it just naturally come. It becomes like when I naturally step into the consciousness and everything else will just unfold very magically. Does it make sense? It's more about like a prioritize based on different period, also to balance out. It's more like a dancing with the both energies from time to time. That's how I view it.
Hmm. No, to me, Joanna, definitely makes sense because um, whenever things are not in our control, as an entrepreneur, I'm speaking, when situation is not in our control, at least we're aware because many times there's situations, especially in business and entrepreneurship, that everything can go wrong at once. And at that time it would be like we'll get into that rabbit hole of judging ourselves, or maybe um you know uh, judging our decisions sometimes, that communication gaps with our team members, our people, or having that loss of trust in the processes and the system setup. So it can really be a very, very slippery slope. And I think awareness and uh, having to know the fact that yes, let's put my efforts into it. I know this is the problem. Let me be aware about it. So let me just think a way about, and then leave the rest it to maybe you know uh, the universe, or the happening, and let it just unfold. I am putting my 100% efforts here, maybe more than that. That's what I understand, Joanna. I mean, correct me if
Totally agree with that. Totally agree because I was once like that. This the situation, like if something happened, I started to self sabotage myself and really blame myself because I realized my previous life pattern, not just about a business. We can think about it. Anything happen in a business is like in a segment of team, like a game. It actually replicate all the side of our life. As a person myself, I realized previously I had a pattern. Whenever something happened, my focus was on the wrong part. I took it so seriously. I thought, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't do well. That's how all those judgments and the blame or guilt, everything's coming up. But since I experienced this soul awakening and soul ascension and shift my focus from the past into the now, about exactly what I can do, exactly what I've learned, and I try my best, like what you're mentioning, try my best to make it happen, like to improve. Let's say, try my best to improve, become a better version.
yeah.
It's totally different shifts. Yeah. So all those feelings are gone because all the very negative feelings are very draining. It actually affect our energy dramatically. But if we shift to now to focus on what we can change, what we can learn, it actually, as once we tried our best, we don't have any regrets, right? Everything else we leave up to the universe to really unfold accordingly. No expectation. Then we always in that happy state, which means we already made a decision not to be burnout. All those burnout, all those feelings and emotions are the previous past stories. We don't want it to be in that state. We want it to be in a happy, growing phase all the time. Then everything else just naturally unfold. Mm, that's how I feel.
Yeah, and sometimes slowing down. I mean, now uh, many listeners will think, oh, does that mean I have to slow down? That's not an option in today's day and age. I mean, we are having seeing rapid advancements in everything. We are seeing uncertain situations. But Jonah, what I also believe is sometimes Slowing down gives you that chance to do course corrections. I mean, you can actually look at what has been happening now. Um, we can try to identify, are there any loopholes in some of the processes, something. Let me try to analyze, why did this happen? And maybe in that process and that approach, you really find some surprising observations, and the way of your thinking, it completely gets changed. And I believe that may happen.
So true. I was like a fireball before because I operate on my masculine side of go, 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 rushing off. And through the years, especially after the conscious side, I start to learn to slow down, like what you mentioned. And that transformation is dramatic. I started to understand slow down doesn't mean wait. Patience doesn't mean I need to wait on it. Patience means that I do it anyway, but I trust the universe unfold in its own divine timing. It's kind of let go of expectation, but at the meantime, I'm trying my best. And at the same token, recognize my own pattern. Like previously, when I rush out, was because my cycle is a bit different. I always like I'm a great doer. That's why I'm doing this business with do right action with action taker. But it was kind of lack of the reflection parts, like you mentioned. So the strategy piece. So the strategy piece, if I don't have a solid foundation or the strategy, and I just to promptly just act on it, I often find that I'll go to different directions and not up to uh my goals. So there was a few things actually along my way I fine tune and adjust after I reflect, recognize, be aware of what's my pattern, and to make a decision to change and really take action to change. So that was the true journey of a transformation. So thank you so much for bringing this up. Slowing down doesn't mean, like to wait, passively wait. Is actively acting, but with patience for the divine timing. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. And talking about your model of fractional VA service, it gives leaders flexibility. So, what would you say to a founder? Because now critics might argue that relying on external support, it creates dependency instead of building strong internal teams. So, what would you say to a founder who feels uneasy about outsourcing core operational functions?
Oh, that's such great points. Thank you for this question. Great question. Actually, this statement, I would say it's very common, happening for a lot of the all different stages of the entrepreneurship. And I would say that I understand how he feels because someone feel like wanna delegate out is somehow like passing my power out, right? And then kind of like losing the control. So there's a few things in it. I think it's again it's a balance out. So let's say instead of if we have this fear not passing out and always concentrate just on myself or my internal team members, one thing is yes, I have a full confidence, I have a full control, but there's always something is out of control. I believe you experience that. Things are happening in our life. You have an internal team looks very steady and perfect, but things happening all the time. For example, someone's get pregnant, someone get married, or someone is moving on with their career path. I've met so many entrepreneurs. They train up an internal team member, and suddenly some happened, and they have to find another solution or restart over again. So, kind of certainty is not certain at all. If you purely just rely on the internal building well, I don't get me wrong, it's building internal team is very important. It's very important, but at the same time, I think it's better to have open mind to have a backup system in the place. If something unforeseen happened, you actually have the system and the resources to really fill in those gaps. Can continue grow sustainably. I think that's one of the things that I would suggest really majority of the entrepreneurs start to have a think of the sustainability point of view, because I've seen so many entrepreneurs when they purely rely on internal team, things could happen. And that's actually how a lot of entrepreneurs coming to us when something happened with the internal teams. Oh, Joanna, I really need your help because someone, got out of something, have to be away and really need this task to be act on, right? Otherwise, I can't continue, with this consistency. So our team can become a plug and play type of function to really step in to take over the task and continue with that. So in that perspective, I think it's more like it's actually left license behind our scene of letting go of control. That was my personal experience too. When I started to delegate, I started little by little. And that's a journey. I think don't judge on ourselves. I only can delegate a little bit this, little bit that. A little bit start is a good start. And on this journey, we'll find out when we gradually step by step delegate out, we will come to a space to really structure something or internal system. It's more like a sustainable system with the backup options can ensure our business always on the run. It's like a machine, analyst machine, right? Even though we're on the leave, we're on the holiday, and key team member have something happening, the business can sustainably go on and continue to grow. So I think that's the mindset we got to have in mind, that break through our inner barrier, but start somewhere small and gradually build on it. That will be my suggestion. Yeah.
I love that point. I really, really love that point, Joanna. And it I believe it definitely reframes outsourcing as less about losing control or letting everything go. It's more about gaining space to lead. Because when you are, your mind is actually free. And I because I've learned this from so many conversations, and I often say in many of my episodes that the business is not running you, you are actually running the business. You really get that space within yourself to, you know um, do some reflection, some creative thinking. What are other ways to grow or scale this? I think I'm definitely, in a bigger picture, very fruitful way. So Joanna, before we conclude, if our listeners, they would like to connect with you and explore more about how you blend spirituality with business, about your fractional VA service, what would be the best way?
Oh, thank you very much. So I think the easiest way to find me is on LinkedIn. You can just search me by Joanna Zhang, or maybe Sana can include my LinkedIn link in the show. So if there are multiple Joanna Zhang there, you just put operations. I'm sure I'll be showing. And also, I love to give your audience a gift. I've got a strategic outsourcing, which means the delegation part, a free guide for your audience. So from that one, you can actually have a look which are the areas I'm actually ready to out to be outsourced, and where's the starting point. And as I said, I'm more than happy to connect with all of you, whomever wanted to dive deeper in this conversation. Just as a collaboration to start with, I'd love to connect with you all. Thank you.
Superb. I'll make sure to have all the links in the show notes for our listeners. And Joanna, this was such a crucial conversation, because you reminded us that scaling isn't just about adding more and more, like more revenue, more systems, more people. I believe it is about choosing what aligns, what supports, and what sustains us as leaders. So thank you so much bringing this into the light.
Thank you so much for spending this time together. Thank you.
So to all the listeners, especially to all the entrepreneurs out there, if you are listening today and you have been carrying the weight of your business on your shoulders, maybe this is your cue to pause. Ask yourself, is my growth costing me my health, my peace, or my joy? Because as Joanna has shown, the systems and the strategies are important, but the way you feel as you scale might be the true measure of success. With this, I conclude this conversation on the BizBlend podcast. To connect with Joanna and to get access to her gift, just refer to the show notes along with this episode. Until then, this is your host, Sana, signing off. Thank you.